This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be? Me, you're me, Louie T. Welcome to Lockdown Coverage, week number 12 in the National Football League. Tennessee Titans on the road taking on the Chicago Bears, the Bears. And if you're the Tennessee Titans, look, I know it's the Bears. I know it's on the road. You can easily go on the road and fall asleep in Chicago, man. It's hopeless out there. But don't fall into the trap. Take care of business, and you could bring yourself one game closer to that lead in the AFC South. Meanwhile, if you're the Chicago Bears, look, I know, I get it, man. What are we on? Quarterback number 3, number 4 now. Matt Barkley getting the start. I get it. I understand, man. It's been really tough this year with injuries everywhere. Offense, defense, doesn't matter. You've had injuries everywhere, but you got to figure out who's who. And that's what the rest of this season is going to be about in Chicago. Figuring out who's going to ride and who you need to put to the side. And so in these final 6 games of the season or so, you need to evaluate your roster, because I think there are some talented football players here with this Bears team, and you're going deep into that roster. 3rd string tight ends, 4th string, 5th string receivers, 2nd, 3rd string linebackers. Looks like Danny Trevathan may be done for the season. I mean, you're going deep into the well now. And so you're going to find out just how much depth you have, who can play, who can't, who's going to be around next year, and who might not be. So even if you're not winning, you still need to evaluate the players on the roster. But you'd like to get a win every now and again to keep the guys' spirits up and keep them believing in the message that you're preaching. And so I think they're going to get one eventually. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first, let me quickly say, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. Hit that red subscribe button, man, for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Also, follow me on Twitter at In The Lab Room. That's your best way to keep tabs on this channel. And also, I'm on Facebook. In The Lab Room is the Facebook page. All of my social media platforms right up above, scrolling across the screen so you can't miss them. Subscribe to Louie Tee Network on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at In The Lab Room. And, of course, I'm also on Facebook, In The Lab Room. Give me a likes there. So, let's jump into this breakdown. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. We start with the first half likes of the road team, that being the Tennessee Titans. A lot at stake here for them. Titans looking to get back to 500 on the season at 6-6. And so this is a big win for them if they could get it. And look, you got to beat the Bears. They're a 2-8 football team. They're struggling. You can't afford to lose this game if you're the Tennessee Titans. It's really as simple as that. You must win this game if you want entry into the postseason. You have to beat the teams that you're supposed to if you're the Tennessee Titans. So let's jump into the likes for the first half for the Titans. They get a 3rd and 1 stop on the first possession. They get a pass interference early on, so it kind of gives the Bears a little bit of a jump start to their offensive flow of things. And so they got to go out and get a tough 3rd and 1 stop. They turn around. Bears say, you know what? We're 2-8. What the hell? Let's go for it on 4th and 1. And they are able to get the stop there. So huge 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 stop by the Titans defense early on to stop the Bears from being able to score points on the first possession of the game. Then the response by the Titans offensively, like I said earlier, it's so easy to go to Chicago. It's dreary. You're starting to get into the later stages of the season. We're almost in December, so it's a little chilly, a little foggy. You can get out there, get into a haze in Chicago, fall the hell asleep and lose. You wake up in the 4th quarter. How the hell did we get here? We're down 17-13 to the Bears. It can happen. I've seen it happen before. And so after the Bears get on the board first with a touchdown, you could have easily said, damn, fell into that trap a little bit. Kind of, mosey your way through the first half and look up and you're down, 10-3 at the halftime break. Instead, you go right back down after giving up the touchdown and go get a touchdown on your own. Marcus Mariota was sharp as attack on that drive, taking the team right down the field and having your young thoroughbred Derrick Henry get it in from 11 yards out to knock the game up at 7. So that was a good response by this Titans offense. Marcus Mariota is the next like on my list. I remember at one point after the loss to the the Texans in Houston earlier in the season, I started to doubt Marcus Mariota. Was he the guy? Can he be the franchise quarterback? I was starting to have my doubts. Those doubts no longer are circulating through my brain. He's the guy, and he's legit. And as the weeks pass, he's gaining more and more confidence. He's throwing the football with an abundance of confidence. I love the way he's throwing the football. I love the way he throws the football up the seams. The deep ball, still think it's a little far out there. Guys are having to make diving stabs on some of his deep balls, but they're catching them nonetheless. He's using his legs effectively, and he's knowing when he needs to get down, when to slide, when to go ahead and push the envelope and try to get the extra yardage necessary. So I like what he's doing, using his athleticism when necessary. I think he's figuring it out at the quarterback position. Really impressed. And I was amazed to hear that he's already got 24 passing touchdowns this season. That's got to be up there in terms of the most in the league this season. He's probably up there in the top 7 or so, because that's a lot of touchdown passes. And we still got 6 games to go for some teams. I think where we are, we're at 5 games left now. So through 11, this guy's got, and 12 for the Titans, they haven't had their bye week. They're going to go on their bye week, the final of the bye weeks, them in Cleveland. So through 12 games, he's already at 24 passing touchdowns. That's impressive for a young quarterback in his second year in the league. So I really like what I'm seeing out of Mariota. I like the usage of his athleticism. I like his ability to get out and create with his legs. I love his accuracy when he's in the pocket, and I think he's starting to really get things, and the game's starting to slow down for him. Really been impressed with Marcus Mariota over this stretch of football when he's been playing a lot better. This Titans team, again, got to scale back the turnovers. That'll come over time. Again, a young quarterback, you know you're going to get some mistakes like the San Diego game, like the Minnesota game, but again, he's starting to scale those back. He's starting to make some plays now, and I really am getting comfortable with the idea of Marcus Mariota being one of the best young quarterbacks in this league. I really like what I've seen out of him. Wesley Woodyard with an interception in the red zone to turn the Bears away. The Bears had opportunities in this game. Wesley Woodyard with a huge interception there in the red zone to take points off the scoreboard after LaShawn Sims had a huge 47-yard pass interference penalty that put the Bears in scoring position. So Wesley Woodyard and that defense stepping up and erasing a scoring opportunity for the Chicago Bears. And then Rashard Matthews with a diving stab. I talked about Mariota throwing those deep balls a little far out there and allowing his receivers to run under them and having to dive in some instances. He makes a beautiful catch. And I'm starting to be sold on Rashard Matthews as a legit option out there. And I don't necessarily think he's a number 1, but he's a really good number 2, I believe, out there in Tennessee, and I still think you need to go find that number 1 guy. But Rashard Matthews has been stepping up. He's been making some big plays, and that diving stab, that was a hell of a catch by Rashard Matthews. And he's been making some dynamic plays over the last month or so for this Titans offense. He's starting to get comfortable and acclimated into what they're doing offensively in Tennessee, and you're starting to see that now with the way he's playing at the receiver position too. He's getting comfortable. Mariota's starting to trust him more, and so you're starting to see a lot more explosiveness out of this Titans offense. They've been scoring a bunch of points. Remember, 47 versus the Packers, 35 versus the San Diego Chargers. They've been scoring some points of late. Another 27 in this game. So the Titans are starting to rev it up offensively, and it's because Mariota's getting more comfortable. The targets are getting more comfortable, and they're starting to really get in sync with one another. And that led to a 21-7 halftime lead for the Tennessee Titans in this ball game. You go to the Bears' first half likes, and it was scoring first in the game. To get out to a 7-0 lead, Matt Barkley at quarterback, you really don't know what to expect. And I thought he went out, had a nice drive early on to get them there. You would have loved to have seen them capitalize off the early pass interference. They took a shot the very first play of the game, get a pass interference, and then they bogged down. 3rd and 1, can't convert. 4th and 1, can't convert. Turn over the football on down. So to come back after that, move it down the field, get into the end zone, and they had to overcome drops on the day. Jordan Howard with a drop on that possession. The very next play, they get the touchdown to the tight end, and so you're able to overcome it there. They weren't able to overcome it later on in the game, though, but still, 7-0 early on with Matt Barkley at quarterback. You got to feel good about that, but that was the only thing that I liked. After that, they gave up 21 unanswered points. Barkley struggled through some interceptions in some bad spots, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half, a bunch of drops in the second half. They weren't able to get anything going offensively after the 7-0 start. As a matter of fact, let's get to the dislikes in the first half for both teams. We'll go back to the Titans and then get to the Bears. And you start with the LaShawn Sims pass interference penalty, 47 yards. It's a big play. That's a huge chunk play. And again, don't bail the Bears out. They're struggling with moving the football. They're struggling to try to score. Don't give them any opportunities that they didn't earn by getting a pass. And he was in great position. Just got to look for the football. Never look back to locate the football. And so he was docked 47 for the pass interference penalty. But they were able to overcome it, forced a turnover. Wesley Woodyard coming to the rescue and taking away that scoring opportunity for the Bears. You go to the Bears in their first half dislikes. Failed 4th and 1 early in the game, first possession. You get the pass interference on the first play. You end up in 3rd and 1. You would like to think that you should be able to convert 3rd and 1. You know my mantra, you know my motto. If you can't get 1 yard, you don't deserve to win. I wasn't a huge fan of throwing it on 4th and 1. I thought they should have lined up and tried to run it again. But, okay, you want to go play action fake, you better work. And it didn't work. And so they turned the football over on downs. Jordan Howard with the 2nd and goal drop down by the end zone. He probably would have scored if he catches this clean and turns up the field. He's going to probably have to dive for the pylon, but I think he gets there, gets in the end zone. Instead, he drops the football. The very next play, though, Daniel Brown, one of your backup tight ends, is able to catch the football on 3rd and goal to get in the end zone. So no harm, no foul there, but still, drops was the theme of the day offensively for the Bears, and Jordan Howard started off that trend with that drop on that 2nd down play in the first half. Cameron Meredith with a 3rd down drop on the very next play. So the Titans, after the Bears score their touchdown to take the lead 7-0, the Titans go right back down the field. They get a touchdown to knot it up at 7. And then you're thinking, okay, if you're the Bears, you want to respond right now. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out. And what does Cameron Meredith do on 3rd down? Drop the damn football. Wide ass open. Would have been a 1st down. Would have put them close to midfield. Instead, he drops the football. The Bears have to punt. That's what 2-9 football teams do. That's their response to giving up a touchdown. We're going to go 3 and out with a drop. That's why they're 2-9. That's what bad football teams do. You see it week in and week out with these bad teams around the league. They make the plays to help them lose, while the good teams make the plays to help them win. And you saw it again in this game for the Bears. Matt Barkley, speaking of plays to lose games, throws an interception in the red zone. That can't happen. You lose this game by 6. He throws 2 red zone interceptions, 1 in the end zone in the second half of this game. Again, those are losing football plays. You can't take points off the scoreboard. You're in field goal range. At a minimum, you need to come away with at least 3. You can't turn it over there. Bad spot, bad decision. That player was not open. He's tried to force the football there, and it was a great play by Wesley Woodyard to make him pay for that mistake and pick it off. So the Bears are trailing 21-7 at the halftime break. Let's go to the second half. We go back to the likes, and we go back to the Tennessee Titans and their likes in the second half of this game. Denoris Searcy with an interception in the end zone to take away another scoring opportunity, the second of which the Bears had an opportunity to at least get a field goal attempt. Again, you lose by 6. You throw 2 interceptions in the red zone. You're talking about 6 points. We might be talking about a tie ball game. So again, you have to take advantage of these opportunities. And Matt Barkley simply, and this is what happens when you put a guy in that doesn't play very often. He thinks he has to make a play. He doesn't realize that sometimes the best play is to throw it away and live to fight another day. Instead, he wants to go out and be He-Man. He wants to be the superhero. He wants to go out and be the guy to make a play when it's not there. And that's how you get turnovers in the end zone. Great play by Denoris Searcy to make him pay. Again, make them pay for making mistakes, especially when they make them in the red zone. And Denoris Searcy did that with the interception. And that turned into a field goal as the Titans would move it down the field and get into field goal range to make it 24-7. So capitalizing off of that turnover, Titans turning that. And you're talking about a 10 or a 6-point swing there, depending on what the Bears would have gotten out of that possession. And they turn it into a field goal of their own. So that's big for the Titans there. You go to the likes by the Bears in the second half of this game. The onside kick recovery to start the second half. They caught the Titans napping. They were up 21-7. They were smelling themselves. They were comfortable. And the Bears knew they had to do something to change the tide of the game. The Titans were moving it offensively. They needed to do something to get back in the game. And they try an onside kick, and it works to start the second half. They recover, and that was big for them. Again, got to find ways to steal a possession here and there, especially when you're trailing 21-7 to start the second half and you're not getting the football, and they stole a possession there. That was a big onside kick recovery for the Chicago Bears there. And then the biggest of them all in the second half for the Bears, the fourth quarter comeback. I really liked the second half defense. You give up 21 in the first half. You only surrender 2 field goals in the second half, forcing the Titans, who did get into the red zone, who did get inside the 10, to have to bog down and settle for field goals instead of getting into the end zone and pushing this game out of reach. So give some credit to that Bears second half defense. But that fourth quarter comeback was admirable. They scored 14 in the fourth quarter. They forced 2 key 3-and-outs. One late in the ball game on a 3rd and 2. Titans try to go with a little bit of a shovel pass. They shut that down and force a 4th down and force them to have to punt, giving them an opportunity to try to steal this football game. They did a lot of good things in that fourth quarter. Barkley took the team down the field despite drops, still getting them into the end zone, cutting the lead down to 21. And remember, they were down at one point in this game 27-7, and they come back 14 unanswered points and got back into this game at 27-21. Had an opportunity. They get down the field. Couple of big drops, couple of big miscues by the Bears. Again, that's why they're 2-9. They're not able to close the show. They had opportunities to win this football game, did the Chicago Bears, but they showed resilience. They showed heart. They could have quit. They could have allowed this to get out of hand, and they didn't. They fought back and made this a ball game, one that they should have and probably could have and probably should have stolen at the end. You go to the dislikes in the second half for both teams. We go back to the Titans. Not recovering the onside kick to start the second half. Look, you got these boys on the ropes. You're up 21-7. This is a chance to put them away. You recover this onside kick. You got the football 1st and 10 in Bears territory. You got a chance to slam the door shut on a bad, lifeless Bears football team. Instead, you don't recover and you leave that door slightly ajar. You leave that door slightly ajar, and the Bears actually came in and almost had a chance to steal this victory. And the fourth quarter, I need you to put this game away. You want to win your division? You can't win it like this. You don't allow a bad football team back in the game with a chance to steal it late. You put this game away if you're the Titans. And to give up 14 points, to not have any offensive fluidity, to go 3-and-out, to give the football continuously back to the Bears, to have to settle for field goals, one from the 2-yard line. That's how you lose football games. You almost pissed this game away. Luckily, the Bears didn't want to win this game, and so you were able to survive with this win instead of going out and taking this W. You barely survived. You merely survived this game, but a win's a win's a win in the National Football League, and so you got it done. But that fourth quarter, very sloppy for a team looking to contend for a division crown. Bears, second half dislikes. Matt Barkley's second interception. This one in the end zone to Denoris Searcy. You can't do it if you're Matt Barkley. Again, you don't need to be a hero, man. No hero ball here. Make the smart play. If it's not there, chuck it out of the back of the end zone. Live to fight another day. If you got to take a field goal, then take the field goal. 3 points, always better than no points. And he made 2 critical mistakes in the red zone in this game. None bigger than that one in the end zone to take away a scoring opportunity. And then the drops late in the game. My goodness. Again, this is what a 2-9 team does. You got the Marquise Wilson drop. They did overcome that, ultimately scored on that possession. So that's one of those no harm, no fouls. But again, the dropsies can be contagious. And if one guy starts dropping it, then the next guy, then it can come becoming an epidemic for your football team. And that's what happened to the Bears. It started with the drop by Jordan Howard early in the game, and it just spread like wildfire throughout the rest of the roster. And the biggest drop of them all, the Josh Bellamy drop in the end zone on the final possession that would have won them the game with pending an extra point. Obviously, that would have tied the game up at 27. If they knock home the extra point, they're probably going to win this game 28-27, barring some kind of miracle finish by the Titans where they get back in the field goal range and steal the game back away from the Bears. They're probably going to lose this game. Bears are probably going to win this game. And Josh Bellamy had to be consoled on the sidelines as he was crying. And he knew he let his team down, had an opportunity to make a play to help them steal this win, and he did not make it. And that's essentially how it goes for a 2-9 football team like the Chicago Bears. So let's get to this. These questions and comments you have. Disco Jump Rope says, do you prefer Marcus Mariota or Jameis Winston? I'm still a Winston guy, but I'm telling you right now, Mariota has impressed me He's doing some really good things. I'm starting to jump ship. I haven't jumped ship yet because even though I love Winston, love his leadership, love what he brings, he's always good for one or two boneheaded decisions every game. Not just every now and again. Like with Mariota, you'll get that every now and again. With Winston, you're good for one or two of those a game. And so that turns me off. But Mariota, I'm starting to really like what I see out of him. I didn't trust him earlier in the season. Didn't know if he had it. He's got it. And I'm really starting to lean towards Mariota, but I'm still a Jameis Winston guy as of right now. Jake Butler says, do you think the Titans can win the division this year? If not, next year and next year? They can win it this year. I don't think they will, but it's there for the taking. The Texans are not a good football team on the offensive side of football right now as it stands. Their defense is really good. I think this division is going to come down to that game versus the Titans. Titans and Texans in Tennessee. If the Texans get the season sweep there, they're going to win this division. If the Titans can get that split and salvage that, I think they have a legitimate shot of winning this division. The Texans, they don't scare anyone right now, and they've got a shot. But I think the Titans, I still think they're a year away from winning this division away from the Texans, but they've got a legitimate shot, no doubt about it. And they're going to be around for a while. This is a legit team. They've built it the right way. They've built it up front with the offensive line. They can run it. Mariota takes care of the football for the most part. They're scoring points. This defense is a lot better than people give them credit for. They still have some issues in that secondary, but they've got some players on that defense, and I think they're going to be just fine in Tennessee. They got a shot. Rashad Hunt says, Mariota is 7th in passing yards, 3rd in TDs, and 5th in QBR. That's with no serious receivers. I'm telling you right now, he's shown me something this season. When I found out he had 24 passing touchdowns, it made sense because I've seen the amount of points scored over the last month and a half or so by this Titans team, but it still floored me because to hear that number, knowing that there's still 4 games left in the Titans' regular season, that is phenomenal for a second-year quarterback, and he's probably going to eclipse 30 passing touchdowns this season, which is out of bounds for a second-year quarterback. This guy's playing outstanding football, and this guy's playing at a really high level, and I think they're utilizing his talents and his skill set very well, and he's starting to figure some things out, and the game's slowing down for him. I'm really impressed with Marcus Mariota, and he has what it takes to take this team to the playoffs in year 2. It's going to come down to that game at home versus the Texans. You got to win in the division. If you want to win the division, you got to win in the division. I'm not mistaken, the Titans haven't seen the Jags at all this season. You got to sweep them, and I think they've got the Colts once more. They've already lost to the Colts at home. They've got to go to Indy, if I'm not mistaken, and win. I don't know if they'll be able to do that. I just think they've struggled with the Colts. Matter of fact, they've already went to Indy and lost. That was, if I'm not mistaken, that was 2 weeks ago. They went to Indy and lost last weekend or so. So they've struggled in the division. You want to win the division, you got to win games against teams in the division. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting in that AFC South down the stretch. That is for certain. Disco Jump Rope says, when you saw the Titans got DeMarco Murray, did you think he would be this good? I thought he had a shot. I didn't know what the plans were, but when they told me we're going to a power run game, I said that fits DeMarco Murray to a T. I've been impressed with his ability to catch it out of the backfield this season. Him running the football, we've seen him run this well before in Dallas. If you create holes for him, he gets in space, he's dangerous. We've seen that before. What I didn't know was how good of a pass catcher he was out of the backfield. He's been phenomenal catching the football out of the backfield. I did not know he was that good as a pass catcher. That's what has surprised me the most with DeMarco Murray is his ability to catch it out in space, out of the backfield, and make things happen there. He's been a godsend for the Tennessee Titans this season. And Jake Butler says, how do you think Mariota will fare against the Broncos and the Chiefs coming up in the next 2 games? He's got a shot. The key is they got to run the football in both of those games. You can run against the Denver Broncos, okay? Maybe not as successful against the Chiefs, but you can run the football versus the Denver Broncos. If they make a commitment to the run game and they allow him to play off of that, he can have success versus the Denver Broncos. If they allow the Broncos to take the run game away or they take it away themselves by being too pass happy and they end up in 3rd and long situations, allow the Broncos to pin their ears back, it could be a long day for Marcus Mariota. If they establish the run early and often, they can not only run the football and allow Mariota to have the time to throw the football down the field, which he's been doing very successfully over the last month and a half, they could actually beat the Denver Broncos. And so we'll see what happens. That's going to be a good matchup for them. And if they're serious about winning the division, you got to win at least one of those two matchups. Real Fact says, do the Bears not touch a quarterback in the upcoming draft? Not many franchise guys, in my opinion. Yeah, they're going to have to do something. I think it's out of necessity that they're going to have to take a quarterback. Their quarterback position, Jay Cutler won't be around next year. Billy Ho is a bridge quarterback. Even if you take a quarterback and he's not ready, you start Billy Ho. But there's no doubt you have to take a quarterback. Matt Barkley's not the answer. Billy Ho's not the long-term solution. You can't go through another season without a guy on the roster that you think is your future quarterback. They're going to have to do something at that position in the upcoming draft, no doubt about it. Eagle Speed is a Nerd says, watching during class. Hey, man, focus on your studies, man. Don't let me get you in trouble. This video will be here when you get out of school, man. Don't watch me while you're in class, man. Don't get yourself in trouble. That being said, it's going to do it for this edition of Lockdown Coverage. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room on the Louie Tee Network. Titans survived the Chicago Bears 27-21, run their record to 6-6, heading into their bye week. They got a tough stretch down the stretch, but they've got to take care of business if they want to win this division. They're a half game behind the Houston Texans. We'll see what happens. Bears drop to 2-9. Again, it's all about evaluating players now and figuring out who's going to stay, who's going to go in the offseason. Titans, hold on and go to 6-6 on the season. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I'll be back with the Dolphins hosting the 49ers. I'll see you a little bit later on. Have a good one.